Hello and good evening from Cologne, Germany. We're here in the ESL studios on Friday the 31st to bring you the drawing for the Premier League, the round of 32 for Season 3 of the World Championship Series. I'm Sean Portclock, of course. Joining me is the online operations specialist for StarCraft 2 and the WCS is Graham Pitt, and we are here to determine who plays who in the World Championship Series. Graham, good to have you on the show. We had a lot of fun last time.
We did indeed.
And we're going to have even more fun tonight. I know it.
I hope so.
I hope so too. We've got our pots with us once again. First of all, before we start going into telling everyone at home what's in what pot and so on, why do we even have pots? Let's just begin there. Why is it not just a complete random draw for the WCS?
Okay, so the main issue is we have lots of restrictions and rules to make sure we follow, to make sure that, for example, no more than 2 European players play in the same group.
Yep.
And we also have issues such as the China players are going to have their visas for Europe this season, not America, which is a change from the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
So they will have to be there in their own little pot that we can just draw into the Europeans. Likewise, to counteract that, we then have a pot for the Taiwanese and Latin American players, and so on and so forth until we meet all the restrictions. Okay,
so all 32 players here spread across these 6 pots in total, and then one for the matchups at the end to determine who plays who in the groups. So let's walk through the pots then. Let's begin with pot number 1. What is pot number 1 and who is inside?
Pot 1 is the top 8 ranked European players, except we have a minus for a few players, one the notable case being 4GG, because they have things such as visa issues, passport issues, or conflicting date schedules, so they get put into the other Europeans, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
But it's basically the top 8 WCS ranked point players.
Yeah. Okay, pot 2?
Pot 2 is just all the North American players. There is a small exception, which is Polt. We'll get to that when we draw it.
Okay, all right, so Europe and American players, some, not all, but most European players.
Yep.
Pot 3?
Pot 3 is the Chinese players, simple Chinese players.
4 Chinese players.
Yep.
Okay, pot 4?
Pot 4 is the Taiwanese and Latin American players.
Okay, and that leaves us with 2 pots left. Pot 5?
Pot 5 is best explained with pot 6. Okay. So pot 5 and pot 6 contains 6 European players, which makes up the full 14 plus the 8 from the first pot. 4 of them are in pot 6, which is the European players who have to play in Europe, which is 4GG, Laser Mana because of their passport visa issues, and Gung Fu Banda has a date conflicting schedule, so he has to play in Europe as well.
Okay.
And then that means it leaves pot 5 with Starbuck and Hero Marine from the European side, and also the 2 Southeast Asia Oceania players, which is obviously Petraeus and Igus.
All right, so the way that we're going to be doing this draw is throughout these pots, we're going to be going 1 pot at a time all the way through until we finish with the 32 players. And we can have a look at the groups, as of course, we need to fill them into this beautiful thing right now. It's completely empty for the time being because we haven't begun the draw yet, but we'll be going from Group A to Group H, and you know the WCS, you know how it works. Group A to Group D is going to be groups played in America because this is going to be the first set of groups in the time-restricted manner that we'll be playing out. And then Group E all the way to Group H is when we'll have the European groups drawn, of course, played in respective groups, Burbank and Cologne, Germany. So that leaves us with one kind of task to do, and it's a task we've been put here to do, which is to commence the drawing. So let's begin with pot number 1, and this is going to be the 8 players in Europe, as you mentioned, WCS ranking, excluding kind of 4GG and some others who have passport and visa issues, going to be drawn from Group A to H. So 1 player in each group all the way through.
Correct.
All right, let's begin. So the first player is going to be playing in America. So who is it going to be?
It's going to be Harston.
Okay. So Harston plays in America in Group A. Yep. And the second player to be playing in America with Harston. Harston does like America, so...
He does.
Who's going to be joining him?
His Dutch friend.
Oh, they might even be able to travel together. You Thermals in Group B. So 2 Dutchies going over to the States. Rotterdam's going to be very happy with that. Now Rotterdam's back casting in America.
Showtime.
Oh... And the third Dutch player to go through, Showtime, of course, from Germany. Going to be representing Germany once again. Top 4 finish from Season 1, Graham. Unfortunately missed out on Season 2, but he came back revenge for Season 3.
Marine Lord.
All right.
Going to America, he does.
He did say that. He played in America last season, and he'll be playing in America again this season. So those are the 4 European players that will be playing in America. We can now move on for the other 4 players in this pot. And these are the guys which will be playing in Cologne, Germany.
Milbau.
All right. There he is. The finalist of Season 2 comes to Europe and playing in Cologne, Germany.
Zanster.
Welcome to Premier League. You don't need to travel too far. Quick trip from Sweden into Cologne.
Can you name the last 2 players?
Snoot and Tilo.
Correct.
Hey, ooh, that's why I'm here. Not really, that's why he's here.
Snoot.
All right, playing in Germany.
And
Leaves us with Tilo with his train ride once again, Graham.
yeah, Dario does love his train rides.
From Berlin to Cologne.
I always offer him a flight, and he's like, no, I'll take the train. It's fine.
So that's the first pot done there. So we have our 8 players, 8 European players, and they are drawn from Group A all the way through Group H. So we can take a closer look now and see exactly where they are for some graphical reinforcement. Harstam, Euthermal, Showtime, Marine Lord will travel to America across Groups A to Group D, and of course E to H is the European players that will stay in Europe. Good start to the draw, Graham. No mistakes yet. And let's hopefully continue that way.
Let's.
Moving into pot 2, so if you're tuning in now, just kind of joining in on the fun. Pot 2 is a group of 8, and the only 8 players that played in America Challenger.
Yeah, correct. There is a small.
Oh yeah,
issue.
you said.
Polt is currently having issues with his passport and his visa, so he actually can't leave America at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw the other 7 players into the European groups. So four of the 7 will go to the European groups. Then we'll add Polt back in, and then the remaining 4 will go into the American.
So 4 names coming out of 7, Polt not being in there, must play in Europe, and then we'll put Polt back in for a complete 4 again, and then we'll draw for America.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, let's begin. Where's Polt? Is he?
Polt is this little one here.
Polt
I'll put him over with you.
Okay, you can come with me, Polt. I hold you. Polt.
Okay.
Put him down.
So this is the player going to Group E, the first European group.
Yes.
It's Neeb.
Hey, coming to Germany, mate. Hello. Well, buy you a Kolsch.
Is he old enough to... Oh, he is, yeah, it's Germany. Yeah. He wasn't last time.
Has anyone that plays in the WCS is old enough to drink in Germany?
Neeb wasn't the last time he came. He was 15 the last time he came. We had that, remember that weird season with America?
15, Germans don't care. He's fine to have a beer. But yeah, Neeb gets drawn into Europe.
Kane is also coming to Europe again.
Hey.
Be fun. I enjoy working with Kane.
Yes, he had a lot of fun.
He's a good character.
He is a good character. Hopefully some more banter coming out from him when he comes over.
Indeed.
Loves a bit of a boogie on the weekends as well.
Hitman.
Ooh, welcome. Welcome.
And the final player we're going to have...
Yeah, I've got Polt here ready to put back in.
Is going to be Violet.
Okay, Violet. Hello. Coming back again. Good old Violet. I like Violet. Well, I've got Polt in my hand here. So we've got 3 players in there. I'm going to throw him in. Not place him, I threw him in.
Very dainty.
Okay, so 4 American players left that played and qualified from Challenger. Continue on, and these obviously go into the American groups now. So Polt is playing in America no matter what. Do we draw him out first?
We actually do.
We do. Got excellent throwing technique, me. So Polt plays in Group A with Harstam.
So who else have we got left? We've got Massa, we've got Jaedong, and I can't think of the last one.
You best draw him out then, find out who he is. Hydra. There, I said it before.
It's because he didn't play Challenger, so I've forgotten him. That's why.
Okay. Hydra goes into Group B with Euthermal. This is becoming a bit interesting now. We didn't really talk a bit about it with the European groups because it's a bit too far for me to see. But we'll have a look at the graphic in a minute when we finish this round.
It's the Dong.
Showtime and Jaedong, same group. And that leaves us in Group D, which is Marine Lords is playing with, not against, because that's for later, but he's in the same group as Massa.
Correct.
Okay, so Massa stays in North America this time. Okay. So we have now drawn 50% of the groups. We've drawn 16 players now spread across from Group A to Group H. We've completed with 8 Europeans and now 8 North Americans. So let's go ahead and take a look at the graphic. And here we do have the group so far. So we talked a little bit about Group A to D. Let's talk about E to H. So we've got Lilbo and Neeb together. Zanster and Kane together, Snoot and Hitman together, and Tilo and Violet together. Violet's starting to pick up a bit of form again recently, so that'll be interesting to see if they match up against each other. But so far, so good, Graham.
Yep.
Good job. I feel like we need to high five or something as we're halfway through.
Look on then.
Wait. We gotta get on camera. Good job, Graham.
Yeah.
Let's continue on. All right, let's go to pot 3. So pot 3 is the 4 Chinese players, which we're switching it up this time because every single season they've always played in America.
Correct.
And it's now time for them to come to Europe. So, and because the season finals in Poland, it's just much easier for them to get a visa to stay in Europe.
Yep.
For both. So let's go ahead and draw the 4 Chinese players. And these, of course, going to be drawn in the second set of groups.
So going to Group E is Shana.
Welcome. Welcome, not only to Premier League, but to Europe.
Next player.
Can say that for every one of them since they're all coming to Europe. But
Yeah. Iasonu.
so he's in, Iasonu comes in with Zanster and Kane. So an Olzergi group.
Oh, yes.
All right. And then we go into the last couple of groups here. 2 players remain. Jim with Snoot. And who's at Hitman? The groups are over there. And I haven't got that good of a memory.
Last player is Jigua, another Zerg. We've got 2 full Zerg groups so far.
Whoa. Okay, kicking out those Zergs nice and easy. Okay, so Shigua goes in.
You're going to need to find yourself a ZBZ analyst.
So, well, funny of that, we probably have one, if you know what I mean. Let's go ahead and take a look at the groups one more time then, because we have moved through a different pot, and I want to update them every single pot here. So Shana, Iasonu, Jim, and Shigua in the European groups. You can see they're starting to take shape. And I think that from a player perspective, I don't think there's really too much to worry about for anyone. I think everyone's going to be like, okay, maybe you can look at Neeb and Shana going, oh, go on, Lilbo. But overall, I think it's I think most players are going to be happy with this. Well done.
Yeah.
Let's move forward then to the next pot, which is the Southeast Asia players and the 2 Europeans. Is that correct?
No, it's the Latin American.
No, the Taiwanese and Latin America. Sorry, jumped to gun.
Yeah.
Jumped to pot. Okay, so let's move on to these 4 players, which are getting drawn into Group A to Group D, playing in America. So the Taiwanese and the Latin Americans. No more major in Europe for us. No more Pokemon games with him.
Nope, and it is major. Speak of the devil.
Let's go drawn into Group A with Harston and Paul. Now, this is shaping up to be a very, very cool group, actually. It's a very difficult one. Of course, Paul and Major played many times in the past. Harston joins them.
Yep.
Let's draw the next player then. Joining Euthermal and Hydra is going to be... Dun, dun, dun! Kelazur. Oh, I liked having Diego over here for clone groups.
Yeah,
but
Diego's great.
you go back to Rotti and Nate, I suppose.
That's a interesting group.
Yeah, Euthermal, Hydra, and Kelazur looking good.
I know Euthermal and Kalazur were spending a lot of time together in China recently, so they're going to enjoy that, I think.
Yeah, they were. The Touchstream Masters, you're right. They did spend a lot of time. Showtime and Jadong is the next group here in Group C. Who's joining?
Sen.
Welcome back, Sen. Did not have the best season last season. He went out at record speed, unfortunately. But hopefully this time can be a bit different.
You know who this is, don't you? It's not quite as fun as the last group we drew him into, but it's Haas.
Yeah, Marine Lord Massa and Haz. And now, we're very close to complete it now. 3/4 of the way through, kind of. As we can have a look now at the groups again. We only have 8 players remaining. So there's the group so far. And now becomes the interesting part because we've actually got some very good players in these last 2 pots that are going to be joining the last set of groups. So the next pot here then is the 2 Southeast Asian players with the 2 kind of back-end European players that have been put into this.
Yeah.
Starbuck and Hero Marine. Starbuck's on holiday, so must play in the American groups here.
Correct.
During the European groups is on holiday. But let's go and continue then. So Starbuck and Hero Marine forced into the American groups, but which one are they going into? And also joined with Igers and Petraeus.
You're getting really good at that now.
I don't know how. It's very lucky. Okay, oh, what a group that is. Harston, Pult, Major, Petraeus. I mean, Petraeus gone to playing part-time now, so... But I still think he's obviously going to be shooting at a place to move out of that group, but it's not going to be easy. It's a very difficult group.
That's a very tough group, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Harston's playing better than ever before, and you've got Port and Mage. I think Mage is really good as well. It's a great group.
You've got 4 players there who you look at and go, yeah, round of 16.
Yeah, definitely round of 16 quality for every single one.
Until you see that.
2 of you are round of 32 quality. You have to be.
Next up is Starbuck.
Okay. Starbuck joins you Thermal, Hydra, and Kelazor.
That could be quite interesting as well, actually.
It's a good group. Starbuck, of course, firing his aggressive bullets to get into the round of 32. How aggressive can he continue to be? That's the 2 Terrans and Zerg, 2 teammates in there too. Group C, Hero Marine.
2 Germans.
Yeah, Showtime, Jaedong said not the best of draws there for the Germans, having the 2 players in the same group. They could still technically advance over Jaedong and Sen, but let's continue on. Last player then to be drawn, which leaves us with Aigers.
Aigers indeed. Very Terran-filled group.
Yeah, Marine Lord Massa has an Aigers, and the question is, which cheese is Aigers going to lose to against Hess? Or defend?
Well, you might not play him. You never know.
Well, that's true. He might not actually bump into him. Okay, so let's go once again to the graphic here, because, I mean, we have our graphic on the table. You guys at home have this graphic up there. So it's looking good. I mean, Group A is fantastic. I really, really like Group A. Group B is very fun as well. I love the Brazilian flag in there, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just that green. It's a great mix. I love it in there. Sad to see the 2 Germans together, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. And of course, as you said, the all-Terran kind of group in Group D. Has going to be choosing the multiple options against all these Terran players, but which one's he going to choose?
He can prepare really nicely against one race.
Yes, he will. He will.
For the Protoss Terran cheese, that is the group to
That
watch
is
if you ever want to learn how to play ladder.
That's going to be fun, for sure. Okay, so that leaves us with 4 players remaining then, Graham. So we've got Group E to Group H, which is the last remaining groups that are going to be played in Cologne, Germany, which we'll be a part of.
Yep.
Who's going where then? So this is the last remaining European players.
Yep.
So the ones that had visa issues or passport issues that couldn't get to America to play in the American groups, that are forced to play in the European groups.
Yep.
Big names in there.
4GG, Mana, Kung Fu Panda, and Laser.
So where are they going? The Lasers continue to surprise. So
He is.
the first group's the Lilbo group. Lilbo, Neeb, and Shanna from China. Which player is going to be playing in there?
It's the Kung Fu Panda.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Shanna is a Protoss.
Yes.
So we've got 3 Protoss in there. That's quite a nice, fun group for them. Zanster, Kanuts. So this is the all.
Oh, Shanna's
group.
Terran. Shanna's Terran, sorry.
So
Yes.
if we
Just had to
draw
double check that.
a laser into this group, it is 4 Zergs.
Will you do that, though?
No, I've put 4GG in there.
4GG joins the Zergs. That's good. So that's an okay draw. 1 race to play against.
Yeah.
Okay, so that leaves us with 2 players then left. Mana and
Laser.
a Laser.
The Poles. And this is Laser.
Drawn into the second to last group there. With Snoot, Hitman, and Jim.
Yep. Which means that Mana gets the...
Mana's the last one. If we haven't messed up, this has to be Mana. Imagine it was someone else. Just imagine it was...
Can you imagine? Get to the 32nd player.
It's like happy. I'm like, whoa. Graham.
I'm sensing something here.
Yes, 2 Team Liquid players in there. So that's it for now, but there is 1 stage left. We can once again go ahead and look at the groups from A to H. As we finish with who's playing in what group, but not who's playing against who yet. So here it is, completed for now. We will change this order up in a little bit with who plays who, but there's a 32-player spread very nicely, very efficiently across all these groups. And it's looking good. It's a very tough group. It's a fantastic way to start Season 3.
Yeah.
In the Premier League. Of course, Season 3 already underway. Starting in Premier League, great. But now becomes the interesting part then. Who plays who? Which is the first matches, which is what we have to determine next. So that leaves us with 1 final pot that you have over to the end here, which is 1v2, 1v3, 1v4?
Correct, yep. 3 little numbers in there.
To randomize completely who plays who.
Yep.
So we're just going to be drawing 1 for each group.
Yep,
who, for example, Harston, who's top of Group A, is going to play against.
Yep.
And then naturally the second matchup.
We should also warn you that the graphic will not update after we do it.
Yeah, no, it will update.
It will update?
It will update.
Okay, it will update.
Don't worry,
Okay.
it will be updated.
The technology is there.
The technology is there to do this too. So we'll have the right picture and graphic for you guys to put on Reddit and Team Liquid and Twitter soon once we do this. But we need to find out who's playing who. So Harston is the first player to have this process done for. and he plays against 3. So Harston will play against Major in the first match, and Pult will play versus Petraeus. So that is Group A. We can continue to move forward here. So Harston versus Major, Pult versus Petraeus. Group B.
Uthermal versus Starbuck.
So that's as it is. That group is as it is.
Correct.
So it stays. Uthermal versus Starbuck, Hydra versus Kellers, or teammates must play against each other in the first match.
Did they play against each other?
I think it was in Season 1, wasn't it? Or was it Season 2?
No, it was. Last season we drew 2 root players and 2 root players into 2 groups, and it was Hydra and Massa, I think.
Oh, was it Hydra and Massa?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
And then the other one was...
The other 2 root players.
Yeah. There's a lot of them, actually.
Okay, so going into Group C then, who plays who is Showtime is going to be going up against... Sen. Okay, so the Germans avoid each other to begin with. So that leaves Jadong versus Hero Marine in the second match of that group.
Right.
So going to Group D.
This is our Terran group, or mostly Terran group.
Yep.
Who gets Haas is the
So
question.
Marine Lord plays against Massa.
Massa.
So Haz opens up against Aigers. Great first match of the Season 3 Premier League. Okie doke. Let's continue on as we get closer and closer to finishing this up.
So this is Lil Bao against...
Does he play...
Neeb.
Neeb, okay. So Kung Fu Panda must take on the Chinese player Shanna in the other match of that group. 3 groups remaining. Zanster, the first to be drawn, of course, was drawn first into that group. So who's he going to play against? 4 GGs is a likelihood. 1v4.
It's 1v2.
Wow. Okay. So that group stays as it... No, it doesn't stay as it is. So Zanster versus Kane. Ayasonu versus 4GG. 4GG.
Quite good for that Zanster, considering his ZVZ recently, and
Yeah.
Kane apparently being a
Student.
now, yeah.
Could find himself in a winners match and possibly round of 16 to Poland.
Keep dropping them.
All
This
right.
one.
So this is Snoot's game.
This is Snoot, who will play against Jim.
Okay. Snoot versus Jim. And that leaves us Hitman versus a Laser in the other match.
And the final group. This is the one where Team Liquid all goes up in.
Could they play each other? You could draw a 1v4, which would mean Tilo versus Mana.
They'd never forgive me if I did that.
And you've drawn a 1v2.
Tilo versus Violet.
Well done, Graham.
And Jigua versus Mana.
Okay, so that's a cool match, Tilo versus Violet there, and of course Shigua versus Mana. But that's it now, fully done. There's nothing else we need to do. That is the groups drawn. So, as you can see, the matchups are exactly the way that we've just done it. They've now been switched around, lovely and jubbly. And that's it. You can print screen, you can do all that stuff now and get it on the internet and post it wherever you want it to be posted. Of course, we'll have an official graphic coming out soon as well. But congratulations, Graham, another successful group drawing.
Yeah, it's an interesting draw. I'm kind of sad that some of the American groups are not in Europe, because I would love to have not only some of the players, but also just that group A. I'd love to have that here.
That's a fantastic. I mean, it's a great way to start the season for sure. It's good to see this all unfold. I'm sure I know you've put in a lot of work trying to figure out who's got to go in where.
Yeah.
And this player can't play here. He's going on holiday, so he can't play here. But we've done it. So congratulations, Graham. Good job.
Thank you.
And that is it for us now for the drawing of the Premier League for Season 3. The first matches are only a couple of weeks away, and we'll be starting in Burbank, California for Season 3 with that awesome group, hopefully, and Group A. Thank you for tuning in. That is the drawing for the round of 32.
One game away from the crown.